I have a bunch of stuff that's been on my mind to talk about. Yesterday I didn't record at all. I felt it was weird. I felt like someone else was using my energy or something. It was weird. I don't even know how to explain it. But so yesterday I didn't do a lot. And then last night, oh my gosh, what a horrible sleeping last night was. Um, I don't even know. Something woke me up in the middle of the night, and it could have been Stella and her snoring. I don't know. She was snoring so much. And when I woke up, I saw that she was laying up against me long ways. And she never ever does that. Because we have a king size bed, I lay this way on the edge, and she lays this way and takes up the whole bed. And then she's dramatic all night. She gets too hot. It's like she's got to move here, she's got to move there, and she's always got to cry. I'm like, oh my God, oh, I'm awake. I've got to move, and she needs me to be awake. So I'm sure it was her moving around or something. But when I was laying there and, becoming consciously aware of my surroundings, then, I realized, she was just snoring, and I was laying there for a bit, just listening to her snore. And it's just super rhythmic, She doesn't snore like some old man or something. She just snores really rhythmic. And so I was laying there listening to her, and then I turned to the other side, and she was laying like right up against me long ways. It was so cute. She never does that. No, it was just really cute. Sometimes she does stuff I just think is so cute. But that was kind of just, I just had a horrible night's sleep. Then I got up for a while, and I went to bed with my hair braided, and then somehow I slept on the braid wrong, and it's giving me a horrible migraine. And I was thinking, so when I get done with this, I'm going to smoke a bowl of some indica, turn on some Lifetime, and chill. But there was so much stuff on my mind that I was like, okay, I gotta get this out. And yeah, the braid on the back of my hair. So when you have a migraine, it is your hair feels like it weighs 100 pounds. And so yeah, I just washed it. Whenever I just washed it, it's so extremely soft that it just I don't know. You have to just keep pushing it back. I'm pushing it back. When I split my head open when I fell, and my head split open, I had to go in and get it stapled closed. But the doctor first, he tried to, because I had long hair, he tried to braid my cut closed. So he was working so hard, making these little tiny braids to braid my wound shut. Because he said, oh, that's much better if we can do that. But my hair's super healthy. And it wouldn't hold his braids and stuff. So I had to get staples. Let's see. That wasn't what I was going to talk about either. I was going to talk about one thing yesterday. Okay, so I talk a lot about the brainwashed people. I don't know what to call them. They're just brainwashed. They're not aware of their surroundings, and they're all like living on autopilot with trigger words to meant to get them supercharged. And so my I think I talked about this before, that my neighbor had I watched her kids and stuff like that. She had no problem leaving me her kids, but then she told me that she already knew that I supported Trump, and I tried to reason with her and tell her I'm not just some crazy Republican racist, all this stuff that they try and say these people are. I'm not that. I was a Democrat forever. I just noticed that they were lying. All I gotta do is look. You can see they're lying all the time. And anyways, but you can't get through to a brainwashed person. I can't get through to my kid. I can't get through to the people. It is it's definitely like they have to come to it in their own heads. And seriously, I don't know if it's going to split into two different timelines, you know, like the Mandela effect. One is this and one is that. Because in this one, you know, I'm just going to be a crazy mom who lived in the woods, who became a racist and was all lives matter, and the trans agenda is an agenda to get people to not like themselves. And anyways, but in my timeline, it is completely different. It's like seeing the agenda, telling people be strong, love yourself, don't be beat down by this propaganda and bullshit. And anyways, that's not what I was going to, so my neighbor, I had told you, you know, she had left her kids and stuff, and then she had told me that, Antifa didn't exist. That was something that the right made up, I guess, and that it was the Trump supporters are the ones who went into the Capitol and destroyed it and all this stuff. And, you know, her telling me it was clear what she was trying to do. I mean, you know, maybe she thinks, oh, well, she's a brain injury, she won't notice I'm trying to ridicule her, put her down, you know, in this backdoor kind of way. But I noticed. And so I just was like, oh, I just can't. You know, talking to these people who are brainwashed is so impossible. Anyways, you know, I still live next door to her. And we have a gate, you know, that was open between our yards so our dogs could play. And I've had to close it because she keeps leaving her gate that she leaves in her car, she keeps leaving it open. And I don't want my dog to leave out the gate. And so I have to shut that middle gate. And one day she came through it and she said, do you want me to leave this gate open? I said, well, I only closed it because your gate keeps being open. And she was like, what are you talking about? You know, and I'm sure, you know, to her, it's just more of my craziness. And so it's just been so funny. This is where I totally get like God has a sense of humor. And that, you know, like if you have guides or whatever that are jokesters. Because, so, you know, she thought I was crazy that she left her gate open, whatever. Now, every time she closes her gate, it opens back up. I'm not even shitting you. I was just cracking up yesterday because it was like every time she goes out, her gate's open. She goes and closes it. And then she goes out again, her gate's open. And so I was cracking up. I was like, oh my gosh, this is hilarious that it's like the universe is trying to get her aware, right? But the thing is too, is like I have a gate at the end of my driveway. And, you know, it's got posts. It's like farm gates. You got posts and then you got this big gate, right? And on this post, there's a hook. And so I have the chain hooking on there. And then you can unhook the chain and open the gate. And the chain's still hanging there because it's on the hook. And then you can hook it, when you go around, you hook it on there. So it's always there. Plus, underneath where the gate rests, you put a rock. So, you know, a brick or something, so it rests on there so it doesn't move. This has been going for days, but I couldn't believe yesterday how many times. It was like, how many times does it take for you to like think, I need to do something different? How am I going to keep this gate closed? That's what I'm talking about with conscious awareness, is like, where is your thinking process? It's absolutely insanity. I can't even get over it. It's like watching these people just, I don't know, they're, you know, bumping into walls, and then somebody, I don't know, throws up the word racist. Ah! Where? Let's get them. Or any of this stuff. It's so crazy. It's not funny, really. It's very frustrating to watch these people be treated this way. And I think I did never talk about there was two movies, too. One of them was something something Bayou or Bayou something. It was 2 words, and it was something with Bayou. And it was definitely no people that oh, there might have been somebody I recognized in it. But it was definitely, like an indie kind of movie. But it was really, really good. It was far better than I expected. Because this woman, she was very troubled. It didn't even show all her troubles, but it just shows you a little bit where you knew like she had serious problems. And she got a call that she needed to go home, that her mom died. And so she went home, and it was her dad lived in a houseboat out, down there in Louisiana. It's a lot of water stuff, so a lot of people live like that. And so he lived out there, out in the was out in the bayou. I can't think of there's something else you would say, but I can't think of it. But it's like living out, like the people in the Appalachian Mountains, living out off grid kind of. That's how these people are, and they're a community. And so her dad is a healer, and he's there to he heals people, and that's who they called. One guy got bit by a copperhead, and he was his heart was stopping and stuff, and the guy went and did the stuff, and the guy lived. And so the mom had died years ago, and this woman had washed up to his boat, and he thought it was his wife. He was just confused or something. So the daughter came, and the whole thing is she just got to see this other side of life. She got to see her dad different. She got a whole new perspective on life. And then she went back to her other life with this whole new way of looking at things. It was really, really cool. It was really beautiful. I love those kinds of stories. And this other one is called They Live. I don't know, I think it's from the 80s or 90s or something. It's it's like this totally cheesy kind of style, but it's so accurate. So it is these people that they realize that they're being mind controlled, and that the TV and all the programming, that they're programming people's minds, and the people are all just like, one of them is showing like press on nails, and how you can be so, selling this whole thing, your whole image off your press on nails. You'll be professional, you'll dress like this, you'll look like, you'll drive a car like that, you get these press on nails. So, it's so real to our real lives, right? And then there kept being these scientists or something that was trying to break through the programming, and would start trying to talk and tell the people what was going on. And the people would get these horrible headaches, like, oh my God, make it stop, put our show back on. And it's so accurate to what's going on. And then you could find these sunglasses, I guess, and when you put on these sunglasses, you could see. And half the people were some kind of extraterrestrial. They look like skull people or something. They're horrible looking. They look like dead people, kind of. And but they were this other dominant species that was dominating us, and the people didn't know. I was like, oh my gosh. And this is the 80s or early 90s or something. Like, the disclosure sometimes is just off the, and we all sat there and watched it, in our programming, like, put it back on, it's hurting my head to turn it. And the whole time they've been telling us the truth, and we all thought it was just a movie. It's just, sometimes you gotta laugh. But both those movies, I would say, were really good. Another thing too is, I was thinking about, if anybody is out there who is in that kind of situation where they're being abused or sexually abused, even as a child and stuff, and they do need someone to talk to, my email is in my description. And I think that we do need to have more peers. We don't need police questioning us. We need someone who has been through it, who understands what it's like. I mean, I can't even tell you how many times I was sexually assaulted before I ever even hit puberty. And, you know, nobody's going to understand that stuff unless they've experienced the fear from it. At one point, when I was taken by that giant man, I know I've talked about him before, and he had two of us. He was huge, but we were kids, and he had two of us, one in each arm. And I told you how he was carrying me, you know, as if I was like a puppet or something, like, and he, when he took us in his house, I thought that was it. I didn't think I would ever get out of that house. I think if that guy didn't end up killing somebody at some point in his life, I'd be shocked. I think the only reason we got away was he wasn't quite sure. Like, he thought he wanted to, but he wasn't sure. And we were fighting. Like, I told you, I was like a hellcat. I'll fight. Like, I'll start, you know, punching and hitting and screaming and clawing. I'll do whatever. Pick up things, throw them. And she was the same way. So I think, you know, he bit off a little more than he could chew with us two. But anyways, if there is any people out there, you know, whatever age, you know, when you're holding on to that stuff, a lot of people don't even want to face it because it's painful. And, you know, everybody's experience is different. And I know not everybody has that where they feel that they can fight back. They really are in desperate fear of their life. So yeah, I would totally, if anybody wanted to talk, you know, I would talk to you as a peer. I mean, I'm not a counselor. I'm just, you know, somebody who has been through some stuff and tries to share my experience. Stella's here. Oh, you know what? One of my favorite songs is right now is, I gotta move all this stuff so she can get up here. It is Frank Sinatra, I Gotta Be Me. Oh my gosh, I love that song. I don't even know how, it must have come on my Spotify or something, but oh my gosh, I started singing along with it, singing super loud. I think I would be like if I was in some kind of quartet, you know, a group singing, I think I would be I don't know, is it a tenor that is the deeper one? I start singing it, I think I sound like some man singing. But it's a fun song to sing along to. It's like claiming your own independence as a person. You know, there was something else because I wanted to talk about, I can't remember, but I think it was something with the liver failure and stuff. Excuse me, the liver failure. Because, you know, at the end with my dad, he was super yellow. I told you, you know, he had no liver. Who knows if I didn't go to the doctor with him. Who knows if he had, you know, 1% or whatever. I know it was less than 10% for a long time. And, you know, it was shocking that he stayed alive. And it did end up killing him. I guess if you abuse your liver enough, it just, you know, you keep living, it just gets cancer and, you know, it just keeps getting worse and worse. But that's how it is. You know, that's how everything is. If you don't listen, it gets worse and worse. That's what, I know that's why I ended up with a brain injury is, you know, they had to stop me from, you know, was going off on this path of, what was that? I was a workaholic. I was really caught up in the mind control life. You know, this will make you happy. You know, go work, and then spend all your money and go in a huge amount of debt. And but anyways, with my dad, you know, at the end he was he was real yellow. His eyes were yellow, and I painted some pictures of him. I don't know if I talked about that before, but I'm a painter, and I've been painting since I was a little kid. And I painted these pictures of him, And, all I could see was like this pain and regret for his life. It was the end of his life. And it was, there's nothing he could do to take any of the stuff back. And I've talked about this a lot. I know that. That's part of our life cycle. That's part of the incarnation cycle, reincarnation cycle. That's the, I think, motivating factor behind it. You can't come into one life and learn everything. You can't be an advanced soul in one simple little life. It takes perspective. It takes experience. It takes, life after life after life. And I mean, geez, just think about somebody who is super troubled. Are they just, coming out of it? Have they, snapped out of it and figured it out, and they've just got the whole world figured out? Oh, it's a process that doesn't just fix in one life. But in my dad's paintings, he just looked so I don't know, I just could see pain and regret in his face. And so when I painted the pictures, because I did 2 different ones, I think one was when I went and saw him right before he died. I went and saw him, and I took a picture. And when I was looking at the pictures, I was like, oh my gosh, I've got to try and capture that in a painting. And I think I did. I think anybody who has ever seen the painting, that's what they get when they look at the painting, is the feeling of regret. You can just see it in someone's face. It's like a painful kind of feeling. And then there was the last week he was alive, he was sitting outside, and I guess B took some pictures of him sitting outside by his house, which he had on these bright colors, but his house was also yellow, and it kind of went with his skin and eyes. So I did another painting, and then my sister loved it so much, she asked me if I could have it. So then I did another one. So altogether I did 3 of him at the end. And it was kind of to capture the feelings that I was seeing in him, like pain and regret, but also there's like this childlike thing too that comes with the end of your life or something. I don't know how else to explain it. And when he was, whoa, that was crazy. Just all of a sudden just flipped right off of the thing. Oh, maybe it was him saying, hey, I'm right here. But now I gotta think of what I was saying. I can't remember now. But oh my gosh, that's so crazy. I can't even remember what I was talking about. Oh, well, another thing too I was thinking about is, I've been thinking a lot about the med beds, right? And all the people that are just holding on right now, just with serious illnesses that could kill them. And I mean, I've got something wrong, but it's not going to kill me. But I still, I want to get in the med bed. I want to freaking reset on my whole body, my whole system. And there was somebody yesterday on Twitter, and they were having such a hard day, and they have lupus, and they were talking about, how each day is so hard to hold on to and stuff. And I was just like, oh, just, hold on a little longer. It's not that much longer. The med beds will be here soon. And somebody else commented and said, I've been hearing about the med beds. Is it for real? I really need them for my parents. And so I sent her a video about it. But as far as I understand, it's for real. I mean, we've been living in an artificial simulation of a world. Just like I said before, we have been on the Truman Show. We just didn't realize that there was these advanced beings, and we were their little pets. We're their, we're not even just toys, because we're slaves, but we are just like their playthings. We are cattle to them. and they're far advanced from us, but people are waking up. They've been manipulated through their mind for so long. But there's so many of us now who are awake, and it just keeps happening. Like, there's no controlling it now. I can't even believe how many times I could say something or think something, then you go in and you see someone else saying it and thinking the same thing at the same time. Like, we're all waking up to our connection. We're all, it's becoming more and more apparent. And people are waking up to their gifts. And there is a whole world outside of what we can see and hear and feel. And that's what they don't want us to know. They don't want us to understand why we're here. They want to keep us trapped in their slave fake world. And but time's up for them. It's over, thank God. And we're moving out of that whole thing. But it has been that artificial, and it's just so weird too when you are in the other reality. So when you're living in this simultaneous reality, because the people around you are still in this reality, but you've moved into the other reality where none of all this stuff is unreal. It's all fake. None of it's real. And you're focused more on your senses, your gifts and stuff like that. Like, I work way more like on my telepathy and stuff. I've talked about before that I know that I'm connected to somebody. I have been since I was a kid. And I work on talking to them. I work on listening to my guides, picking up on what they're trying to tell me and stuff. Because it is totally a language that you have to learn to understand yourself. And that's why I don't think that any of us could just tell you exactly how you have to do it. I don't think there's like these perfect steps. Oh, just do this, this, and this, just like me. And then I don't think it's that way. I think that there's a lot of different experiences going on. There's a lot of different ways that we perceive the world, and then we understand things, and that our guides know where we're at, and they're going to communicate on the level that we understand. But I just know that all this stuff is coming from within you, and you have to find your own trust. Like, they could tell you and show you stuff all day long, but if you don't trust it, there's so many people who still think like accidents happen, that things are coincidences. But there isn't accidents. There isn't coincidences. It's all for a purpose. It's all to bring you to a certain place. When you meet people, it's not random. It's all real. It's all on purpose. And that's why, being consciously aware of every interaction is your most productive way of being. You're going to learn the most stuff, not just being like, oh, it's just some person. Like, if I'm at a place, for instance, I was at the thrift store a couple months ago, and I was, they won't let you in the dressing room. You can touch all the clothes, you can put them in your cart, but you can't go in the dressing room. So everybody just goes back to the mirror and tries the clothes on over their clothes. And so I was back there, and I was probably trying on something over something, and some other woman was. And I'll start talking to people. A lot of people are just really weirded out, but I start talking to people, and if it goes nowhere, then it goes nowhere. But sometimes, you can have this beautiful interaction with somebody that, is 30 seconds, but I don't know. They can be totally beautiful interactions. Like, I don't know. It can be something just knowing that you made somebody's life better for a minute. Just, it's so variable. You couldn't even complete the list. That's the thing, is we want everything to be defined. We want to understand everything. We want everything explained to us. We want everything now. But that's just not how it is. There's, as a spirit, you know, not everything just comes right this second. Sometimes there's things that have to happen to lead up to something happening. And you don't realize when the things are happening where it's taking you to. But once you get to where it is you're supposed to be, you can look back and then all of a sudden go, oh, that just all made sense. Now I see why this, and this happened. But, you know, for all the people who are on autopilot just trying to survive, they're not in that place to look at. That's when you get to the other reality. And I think that there's going to be a lot of people who are kind of riding the fence for a while that are just confused. You know, they just are not really sure what's going on. And other people, I think there's going to be some people that are just really devastated, don't know how to pick up the pieces. And anyways, that's why I'm on here talking, you know, just trying to reach out to people who are trying to understand what's going on, because this is massive. I mean, this is huge. This is an entire species for all these years breaking free from the other one that's been controlling them. I mean, this is like, oh my gosh, the freedom. And then once you move out of their thing, just having the awareness, even though they still have their clenches, and, you know, most of the people I know, that you just feel free. You recognize, you can see their programming. You can see what's going on. It is like, I remember this commercial, or it was a movie or something, and it was showing this man, I think it was a man, and he's walking past these signs, and the signs were showing what they were, but then they were showing the hidden messages. And there was hidden messages all around him, and he had no awareness of it, but it was just hidden messages everywhere. And that is what we're breaking free from. That is the artificial world we've been living in, that we all thought was the real world. And it wasn't. It was a created environment to hold us captive, and so much manipulation. Just the whole thing with the fluoride, man. You know, that they didn't want people to be connected at all. They wanted to fry their pineal gland. The fluoride has no purpose other than to, what do they call it? It, I don't know, decays it or something, shrivels it. I can't think of the word. You can look it up. What fluoride does to the pineal gland, or pineal gland, however you want to say it. Anyways, there's just so much stuff that we all think is a part of our existence that was all just fake. And there's so many people out there that are just struggling, trying to survive in this, you know, created world. I saw a kid on, I don't know if it was a kid, I'm assuming, because they hit a certain generation really hard with this trans agenda thing. And I know I've talked about it before, because I've seen so many kids do these videos of themselves transitioning, and then they start doing videos to transition back, like it wasn't all cracked up to be what they thought. You know, there is no perfect existence, and you have male and female inside of you. Like, you are both things. So, you know, you have to find the balance in that, and you have to come into acceptance of the body you're in, because you're here for that experience. You're here to play that part, to, you know, play your part in other people's lives. And, but, you know, they've hit those people hard. Just, you know, creating confusion, making them feel like they're in the wrong bodies. It's weird. And then when you get to this thing now where they want 3-year-olds to decide what sex they are, It's like, why not let God decide? I mean, they were born in these bodies. If they're not born with both parts, why do they have to decide? They shouldn't even have to decide then. I don't know. You can just, once you start seeing this stuff, you see the agenda. But so on Twitter today, there was a guy, I'm not even sure if it was a guy or a girl, really, because he just said transitioning. I don't remember if he said from which to which, but he was transitioning. And then he, I guess he had the whole community behind him. I don't know how they all get involved with this, but then he, I don't know if he reached it all the way to the end. Like, I don't know what all got changed in his body, but he changed his mind and transitioned back and has been completely attacked by that community that's all about supporting people that have different ideas of themselves. They're confused about their sexuality, confused about their gender, I guess. You know, they're supposed to be the support group for them. So why would you attack someone? And he said that they were, the stuff they were saying, it was just so ridiculous. And you can see, it's just an agenda. It's really, I think it's really fucked up. I don't think that, for how much did they fuck with people's minds, I don't know. I just find it so disgusting. And, you know, you really start understanding. When I very first started waking up, right after my brain injury and stuff, I started telling people, like, don't you think it's weird that we have to pay for houses? Like, why? Why are they making us buy houses? People used to just go out and homestead and you just took care of a piece of property. How do they own the earth? Like, nobody can own the earth. How are they selling it to us? And I started being like, you know, this is crimes against humanity. This is weird, because in God's earth, we're all equal. We shouldn't have to buy a piece of property or a home or a place to live from someone else. And that's one of my first things. And one of the other first things I know I've talked about was when I start going like, do you know there are people who don't murder just because the Bible tells them not to? Like, they don't have it inside of them, in their own being, to tell them right from wrong. Like, they actually need someone to tell them. They need a policeman. They need the Bible. They don't have their own connection to know what's right or wrong. It's like, what a horrifying place to be. Because, you know, they were telling me when I was little, when I would go do something naughty, they right away, they were talking to me. You know, don't do that, Kelly. If you do that, you know what's going to happen. And I always had the good ones, you know, when they say like the good and the bad angel on your shoulder talking, I didn't have one that, you know, if the one that's trying to get me into trouble, I think they're way sneakier. They don't, because the ones that try and keep you out of trouble, they're blatant. They're the ones who are, you know, don't do that, don't do that. You know, they'll give you flashes of what will happen and stuff for me. But I mean, that's where, you know, I have to try and wrap my head around, like, I don't know how other people are perceiving the world. I don't know how somebody doesn't have them inside themselves to know right from wrong. I don't know why someone would need someone with a gun to tell them what's right from wrong. It's like, we should all be able to live here in peace with each other. And I'm hoping that all of this is just, you know, part of their crazy created bullshit world. And that once things, it's 11:11. And then when I was talking too, all of a sudden the little timer thing went to 11:11 right when I saw, I don't know, I've seen 11:11 a lot today. And, but that is what, who knows? Who knows? If I do want to get in that med bed, I swear. And one of them is supposed to be something that makes you smarter. I don't know, probably gives us some minerals and stuff that we need for our brain that we're being robbed. They're probably, in this reality, they're probably putting something in our water to make us not have minerals and vitamins that we need to make our brains function or something. Mine is, I know mine's worse, but but they have one of these med beds does something for brains. Like if you want to be smarter, if you want, I don't really know how it works, but that might be the one that I have to go in to fix my brain anyways. So I'm going to go in that one. But the one that takes you back, like it redoes your cells, regenerates them or whatever, and can regenerate back to 30 years ago. So, essentially I would have the mind of a 60-year-old, but the body of a 30-year-old. That's a pretty good mix. But if you're the person in there. Not if you're the person who's trying to take advantage of that person, because it's easier to do with less life experience. When you have a lot of life experience and then you have a good healthy body, then you're a damn superhero. So I'm gonna but I've been thinking a lot about the thing because like any parts you've had cut out of you, it grows them back and stuff. So I've been thinking a lot about like the tattoos and stuff. Like I wonder if it just makes them all go off. I wonder if you say, yeah, take everything that's foreign out of me and put me back to my optimal health. And so I was thinking I'm gonna just, if they do that, I'm gonna just go back to a clean slate in this new world that is gonna be just starting out fresh. And I'm gonna spend a lot of time in the sun. I love the sun. And I really think that it is something in the chemicals that is making us have these reactions. It's so funny too. All their double standard stuff, like, we need to have, I don't know, their manipulation with the power and energy and stuff, but that's all, money and which countries and where they want to get it from, because who's getting what payoffs and blah, blah, blah. They're all getting rich while we're all struggling. And, but oh my gosh, today is quite the day, huh? Yeah, if I could stay. I told you, when I have a lot of stuff on my mind, it's really hard to keep it straight. It's like it feels like a murky lake in my head, and it's just like suddenly this bright colored fish is swimming by. I gotta grab it, but it gets out of my hands, and I can't remember what the fuck I'm talking about. So who knows? I've said it before. If anybody else, they need more clarity, or they want to talk about any of the stuff I talk about, or they just need someone to talk to, email me. We can talk. I don't think this is going to last that much longer, the lockdown. Today I went and bought my bottle of champagne. I'm ready. When the programming ends, the cork is coming out, and I'm going to drink some champagne and celebrate, even if it's by myself, me and Stella. And because we're headed for exciting times. And I think I was talking about the med beds and the tattoos. I don't know. Talked about a lot of things. So anyways, it's time for me to go smoke my bowl of indica and watch some Lifetime movies on this freezing. Oh, I do want to say one other thing too. It's freezing ass cold, and I had to go to the store. And when I was going, I passed a guy on a bike. He had on a hood, and I think he had a sweatshirt and then another coat over it. And he was zipped up and stuff. 27 degrees. Fuck. I ride my bike all the time. And if it gets even down to below 50, I can't stand it. And I have hair and put a hat on, but when you're coming and you're going at a temperature and you're just right out in the open like that, it's freaking cold. And it goes in your ears. It'll give you a horrible headache when it's super cold. And I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, honestly, you know, I'm all about riding your bike, but you shouldn't have to be forced. Like, I mean, that's fucked up. If this guy's, you know, trying to get to work and he's got to ride a bike. And I'm out rural. I mean, this guy wasn't going for a little quick jaunt. He had a, you know, I don't know, maybe he was getting to the bus stop and get on the bus with the bike. But still, then he had to take the bike into town and ride wherever he's going. But, oh my gosh, I really felt bad for that guy. 27 degrees out. And I saw, then I saw a motorcycle parked. I guess that guy probably got too cold and called somebody and said, hey, come pick me up on the side of the road, because his bike's just sitting there out in the middle of nowhere. Maybe he ran out of gas. Maybe he had other issues. But in my head, I was like, it's because it's cold. It's fucking cold. So, yeah, it's cold today. So it is a day to just sit in here and watch. Luckily, yesterday I checked and they did put some new Lifetime movies on. Because I am really... Oh, and I watched another movie yesterday too. Oh, old one with Paul Newman. I was the only one I think I watched yesterday. It seemed like I just kept getting in here. It was the weirdest day. And I had no energy at all. It was so weird. I really felt like someone else was pulling my energy out of me. It was weird. There was no reason for me to feel like that. And I was starving. Like, I was so hungry, where that even confirmed to me more. I was like, something was draining my energy. It was weird. But then it went into this weird night last night where I've been up so much, and anyone who comes on and listens to me has just gotta just not be bothered by people who just can't stay on topic, that just wander around in their conversation. But there's a lot of people like me, I know, you know, out of all of the how many ever billion on the planet, even if there's only 2% like me, that's got to be a couple million. I mean, I can't be that weird. But anyways, I will talk to you probably tomorrow. Have a great day.